Like Orion. This is show 104, the 2-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Anthony Taormina. I have two great athletic directors with me, and I am between Taorminas.
Hey, welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. As Anthony said, two very special guests today, Mr. Bill Reiss and Mr. Dan Fife join us on the 2-year episode. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.
We have a lot of business to tend to. Bit of an interesting week. Bit of an interesting weekend around here. One of the worst sports weekends. Shut up. Between the Tigers losing in pretty epic fashion, the Lions lost in Lions fashion, which is always epic.
Yep. It always is when you give up a field goal to Mike Nugent. God bless that guy's heart who went to Ohio State.
What is with
What
you?
is with you today?
Why do you spit on everything that's holy to the southeastern Michigan area?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, it needs to stop soon. All right, let's talk about, the series as a whole. You can look at Game 2 as, a pivotal moment. You can look at Game 3, losing 1-0. But Game 6, just bad news. Bad news. Another grand slam. Killed this team.
Maybe fate has it in this. Because let's remember this. Boston went through the Boston Marathon tragedies, that they're using this as motivation for them in the World Series. I think it was more the Tigers lost it than the Red Sox won it.
Yeah.
So look at that matchup like that.
When you waste historically good pitching by not hitting, hitting historically bad, this is what happens.
Game 6 was a lot like Game 2. Very disastrous.
Just, booted ball up the middle, grand slam
By Shane
after
Victorino.
that. Yep. And then the news today about Jim Leyland.
He had a good career.
He had a good career. I'm
You
sad
know?
to see him go. What are your guys' thoughts? Jim Leyland.
Well, I thought Jim did a great job. 8 years, all the opportunities that we've had to play in the playoffs. I think that the Tigers organization was looking for something like that all along. Here went through a long stretch where they weren't winning anything at all, and it did disappoint me, though. Coach Fife can probably chime into this too, that there was a lot of heat put on Leyland. When I really thought that the issue was the bullpen early on and right through to the end. Looked at all the final 3 innings, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and Tigers were outscored 12-1.
Yep.
So as you said, the starting pitching was dominant, but the relief help just wasn't there.
Oh.
Well, as I told the Taormina brothers before we started today, that I was able to play for Jim Leyland in 1972 or 71 in the Winter Instructional League of the Tigers, and then also played a whole year with Gene Lamont. So I have a lot of good feelings about those guys. I think they're tremendous people besides baseball people. They both, Leyland spent a lot of time with the Tiger organization, grew up in the Tiger organization, and then paid his dues, I think, starting out coaching with La Russa, one of the best. So he had a tremendous background, and I thought he brought strength and discipline to the Tiger system, and that's who they become. Lamont, coach or managed with the White Sox, and him and Leyland were playing together when he was the #1 draft choice ever in a draft in 1965. Gene Lamont was #1 choice of Detroit. So he's been and he's old school, just like Jim, and their belief in discipline and team unity. And I thought they brought that to Detroit and brought a solid foundation for the program that'll continue. Although it will depend on who they hire. But I think Dombrowski's smart enough to know what they have with those two guys.
Well, I think Dave Dombrowski is a smart general manager. Look what he's done for this program. Ever since he took over for Mike Smith, of course, we all know about that era.
Oh boy.
And he's done a magnificent job ever since taking the role of president, CEO, and GM. I mean, you got to look at it here with what I think Dave Dombrowski, if he makes the right choice, this team, it wouldn't surprise me, contends again next year.
Well, with the payroll, they should.
They should,
If you look at that. The thing that comes with a high payroll, though, is a lot of egos. A lot of high-paid guys with, high thoughts of themselves. And I think the biggest thing that Jim did was manage that. And, he managed the expectations pretty well. And
when you have players who play for coaches they love, and I think that, I don't know if Coach Reiss and Coach Fife can attribute that to, but they're going to work harder for coaches they like and love. And I can relate to that myself because of when I've coaching, because I just feel like with players, they work harder for, and Jim Leland's very, very well respected. And and when I see with Coach Fife at Clarkston and Mr. Reiss when he was coaching, those kids work hard for their coaches that they like.
good point.
If they know you care,
Mm-hmm.
they'll play for you.
That's true. Good point.
It's a bit of a somber discussion.
Yes, it is.
So, all right, moving forward, we don't need to get into names, who should be replaced. A lot of people are under contract. There's really not the hot name out there like Francona was last year, but it looks like you're scribbling something.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
If I'm you, this is what I do.
If you're me,
If Joe Man,
I have power to hire him?
if Joe Man, you're looking at this, this is what you gotta come. Come to Detroit, and you'll have a big, big time. Who would ever want to come and manage a team with Justin Verlander and Miguel Cabrera?
you spelled his name wrong.
Owen.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He does have something known as a contract. Another suggestion here, it looks like.
What do you mean you want to hire Gene Lamont? What do you mean you want to hire Gene Lamont?
I can spell his name. You can't spell mine.
What do you mean you want to hire Gene Lamont?
He's got experience. He's been a
He does bring up good
big
points.
league manager. He's been within the system. He knows the Tiger systems. They know him. They know what they're going to get with him. He would just carry on the tradition. The pivotal part in that ball game was that when Fielder got the double play ball, that game was about to explode till that happened.
Yep. You know what? To be honest with you, Coach, I actually agree with you. I think Gene Lamont would make a good coach.
I love
What about you, Mr. Reiss?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think there's really a hot name out there. Obviously, I've heard Madden mentioned several times. I don't see the Tigers staying within the organization. I think they're going to go out, just as Coach said, they were looking for somebody else. Leland had mentioned looking for somebody else younger to come in. I see Lamont and Brookins for that matter. I know that they were grooming Brookins for some positions within the organization. That might be a possibility, although I think they'll go outside. Gardenhire was mentioned a lot as the
That's
hot
what
commodity.
I was looking at, Ron Gardenhire.
But I'm not so sure that that'll be the case. In fact, they did renew his contract just recently. So
Either way, it's going to be an interesting offseason because we can see the glaring needs as well. Bullpen.
Bullpen, obviously.
You might need a left fielder.
Yeah.
You might Max Scherzer potentially on
might
the
be
trade
traded.
block. It's going to be
I hope
interesting.
not.
It's going to be interesting December for this team.
I hope not, but we'll see.
We'll see. I think had they gone further or won it this year, I think Max would have been gone. But he's got one more year left. We'll see what happens. Anything else you want to say about the Tigers to put a cap on 2013?
Well,
Other than I
heard Miguel
wait until
Cabrera's
you.
getting surgery on him, a groin
Yeah.
tear.
Yeah.
He had a grade 2, grade 3 groin tear, getting surgery. So, guess we found out about that injury.
Right.
well, I don't think there's going to be any changes made. I don't think the Scherzer's going to be put on the auction block or anything like that. I think he's going to be our starting pitching is our hallmark. I think it was throughout the series. I'd be very surprised if Max Scherzer was traded. I do hear lots of talk about Prince Fielder's contract. Obviously, that's something to consider. But I think that Illich is committed, and whether it's 150 million or 160 million, he has a good product. Certainly has showed up at the turnstiles and at the gates, so I don't see a change being made.
Okay. Anything?
I
Anything
agree
at
with
all?
that. You always need starting pitching.
Yep.
You got great starting pitching, which they have. It would take a blockbuster deal. I mean, big names, something like that happen. Scherzer's just on the tip of becoming.
He is, but when you start getting into another $20 million contract a year down the road, you
But
know.
who has the opportunity to take on that kind of salary?
Tough season. I would say honestly, can I be honest? I'll say it was a failed season this year, despite
Wow.
winning Central.
Definitely.
Expectations. The expectations were there, and they didn't exceed them.
Winning's not easy.
No,
And
it isn't. I
professional
agree.
baseball is one of the toughest. That's
I
a
agree.
long grind.
And to do it every year on top of that makes
Well,
it
it's
tough.
tough.
I'm just glad we're not Angels fans. Same expectations. Fell way below. All right, when we come back here on Between Taorminas, we're going to talk a little Lake Orion football. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to Between Taorminas, where we are joined by Mr. Bill Reiss and Mr. Dan Fife. And I don't want to say move on to something else somber, but Lake Orion football this past weekend.
Not for Coach Fife. They
well,
won.
No, there's somebody here that's happy about that, which is good. But yeah, boys, take us through it.
And explain it. Well, I mean, you got to give props to Clarkston. I said last week it was going to be it was going to come down to what team played the most complete game. And Clarkston, I felt, played the most complete game. You looked at Zazula, had a great passing day. Erickson had 6 touchdowns. For the Dragons fan, it was very, very humbling to watch. As if you're a Wolves fan, you're loving it because Lake Orion has not beaten Clarkston since 2010 in football. That's a very tough stat when you think about it. Except for Coach Fife, you have to be happy about that. But I mean, you gotta give you props. Clarkston played well. Clarkston played the most complete game. Lake Orion did not, especially on defense. The defense was. I can't even explain this. You know. This is the most points they've allowed since 1993. And they allowed 6 touchdowns to Ian Erickson. 9 possessions, 7 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? I mean, like, as a former defensive lineman myself, I'm ashamed by it. I'm crying because of it. You know, and then, of course, watching Erickson do razzle-dazzle lightning crazy runs for a touchdown against on that 4th one, I'm going like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, like, geez Louise, what? This is the worst defense up. Yes, this is the worst. I wouldn't say that at all. Well, the worst defense at Lake Orion I have seen. I disagree on that. I disagree on that. I think that you got to give Clarkston a lot of props. Their offense played very, very well. This is one of Clarkston's best teams that they've had in a long, long time. So you have to give props to Clarkston's offense. I'm not going to say our defense is terrible because they're not. I just think that Clarkston's offense is, the offensive line is what starts everything, and you got to give props to Clarkston's offensive line especially. And Clarkston had just enough stops on defense.
Now, I thought it a little different than I thought it really was a battle between 2 heavyweights. Recall that the score was 28-28 with a minute and 18 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. So up until that point, I thought that Lake Orion represented themselves well.
I did too, but
obviously Clarkston has a lot of recognition. They're the #1 team in Oakland County right now. We're ranked number 7. Their line is tremendous, but I thought Zazula was just outstanding in the first half, and it created a whole new series of things for us as a defensive team to deal with. His passing was great. I didn't think we put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He scrambled well. And then, of course, Erickson came on with the explosiveness that he has. And I've talked with Coach Fife of both of those guys, and I can say that those young men are real gentlemen and have done a real great job this year, and deserve all the credit for what they did.
Well, this year early on when Erickson was hurt, we had to start going to more passing game. We lost our first game with Erickson not playing with, and Sazula, we started passing more, and it really helped his confidence because he really didn't, even though he started every game last year, he didn't have a good year as far as, but he had a good learning year. And then this year, once we couldn't run the ball as well as we thought we could early on, we started passing more, and it opened up, and it allowed him to have, gain more confidence. So then when Erickson come back, this was only his second game back full strength, and I think, really, it's very hard to defend a good passer and a good runner, and that's what we were able to do the other night. But as as Coach Mr. Reiss said early, that was 28-28 the last, into the third quarter. So it was still anybody's ball game. We got hot at the end. Maybe it was our overall strength. I don't know, but things like that happen. But to be honest with you, I didn't realize Orion hadn't beat us since 2010, because every game we play in Orion,
it's always
Clarkson Orion football game, it's been such a great rivalry. And it's a great rivalry, guys, because I think the character of our programs, both our programs, the coaches, the way they coach their kids and the way they behave and the way they play the game on both sides, it's a good, hard-fought ball game, but at the end of the game, everybody lines up and shakes hands and honestly means it and understands what it is. It means a lot to both schools, and there's quite a thing with this. The town's so close together and have this kind of intense rivalry. Yet when the game's over, it's good. Everything about it's what high school athletics should be about.
I agree. I think that you look at it's one of the best rivalries in the state. And at the end of the day, when I went to college, one of my good friends ended up being a student from Clarkston. You know him pretty well, John Cast. He we talk about the Lake Orion-Clarkston game from time to time as well, and it's one of those experiences where you end up being pretty good friends with a young man from another school, and I think Lake Orioners and Clarkstoners do share a strong respect for each other.
I take a quote very interesting here. A couple of years ago, back when I used to play football, Clarkson coach Kurt Richardson said this quote: "You can put a kid from Lake Orion and he fit in with at Clarkson, he fits in. You can put a kid from Clarkson at Lake Orion and he fits in." Both these teams are very similar approaches to how they want to how they instruct kids, how they handle the business, doesn't mean playoffs every year, maybe not, but it is, but they want to get it done the right way. And I think that both teams, in my opinion, have got it done the right way.
I think you said it right on the money. Both schools do it the right way. They're both winners in my book.
Well, I have to go one more step. Probably the kid that in my 32 years of basketball coaching, the hardest kid I ever played against, the most competitive kid that I enjoy talking to him because he subbed in our buildings, Jimmy Vaccaro. I never had a player compete against Clarkson like that kid. By far the most competitive kid I've ever coached against. Wow. And what a tremendous kid. And I was just going to mention about Sazula and Erickson. Those kids are better kids off the floor or off the field than they are football players. You never know they're in school. They're good kids in the lunchroom, wherever they're at. They're good kids. They're humble and represent Clarkson very well, both on and off the field.
I agree.
Moving forward, Oak Park for Lake Orion.
Yep. Lake Orion plays Oak Park.
What do you say, real quick?
I'm going to say the Dragons are going to bounce back. I think the defense is going to be a lot better. I think that they're going to bounce back. They're at home. Oak Park's had a really good running game. I think that, but I do think the Dragons bounce back, and I think Lake Orion beats Oak Park. I'm going to say by 2 touchdowns. I just feel they're deeper. I feel they have more depth. I feel that Lake Orion's going to they're going to overcome, they're going to bounce back, and they're going to win. As for Clarkston and Southfield, I think Clarkston's that's going to be a good star-studded matchup. I think Clarkston is going to beat Southfield. I'm going to say Clarkston's going to beat Southfield by 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's going to be very hard to stop Ian Erickson.
I do have one pick for Orion and Oak Park, and I have another pick for Clarkston and Southfield. Of course, Here they are right here, what I think is going to happen. I like Orion in this game over Oak Park, 49-45. Not so on the defense. And then Clarkston, I think Clarkston wins over Southfield by 2 touchdowns, and Dan Fife will be dancing for an undefeated season.
They're 8-1.
Oh, sorry, take it back. 8-1.
Is that Dane or
Undefeated.
Dan?
Dang,
Did you say Dane? Dane's working for that too up there in East Lansing.
All right. Well, interesting.
What is this defense
Yeah,
playing here?
I can't believe 90,
I can't believe you bashed
94
our
points. You
defense.
think will be on the?
I can't
Dragons?
believe it.
it'll be a shootout.
Wow,
I can't believe you. One, I can't believe you bashed our defense because I think our defense is a lot better. They're gonna bounce back.
You give up at least 400 yards total offense, and you let Aiden Erickson have a field day for 6 touchdowns. I mean, Oak Park's had a very good running back in John Kelly. You know, he had 5 touchdowns 2 weeks ago against Harrison. I don't know.
But our
how in the
defense
world-
will bounce back. I promise you that. I will promise you our defense bounce back.
And I don't think Oak Park's quarterback play is going to be equivalent to what we saw at Clarkson
Right.
there. So I'd be very
Stack it up
surprised.
a little differently.
I think the Dragons are going to win. I think
Yeah.
they'll bounce
Yeah,
back.
that's the only thing we agree about. Dragons will win that game, and Oak Park will be sweating it out on Sunday.
Mr. Reiss, you gonna let this guy on the field?
I don't know.
More is better. Chris gonna let him out there.
Dolly's gonna get mad at you, big.
Hey,
He's already been mad at you over the previous show pick.
Is this a call out? Is that what you
I
call
think
those?
so. Yeah. Call out the
Callouts,
defense.
Hold tight
Might
to
be coming to
callouts, all right?
Clarkston. Might be working for us next year.
All right. Well, we come back for the third segment. We got some call-outs right here on Between Taorminas.
Actually, 2-year anniversary.
Hey, Sammy, Anthony, and Ian, this is Dan Miller from Fox 2 News and the voice of the Detroit Lions. Congratulations on 2 years. A lot of shows don't make it that long, but you guys are obviously doing the right thing, so way to go. Keep it going. Keep doing what you do, and we look forward to talking to you again next year when you hit another anniversary. Until then, we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, this is Mickey York from Fox Sports Detroit. When I want to get the inside scoop on local sports, I watch Between Taorminas or Fox Sports Detroit.
Back to Between Taorminas right here on Nori Neighborhood Television. And apparently there are no call-outs today because
We had Dan Miller. You know what I mean? It was shocking to hear Dan Miller.
it was shocking to see him,
Yeah.
nonetheless. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, guys, episode 104.
2-year anniversary.
Yep.
You know, we recently, as I shared with both you guys earlier, we recently won the Philo T. Farnsworth Award, which is a very big honor. We remember we had that a few weeks ago. Just been an unbelievable ride. We're 2 years.
We've had various guests.
Various
here,
guests, including two very famous
Mr.
athletic
Fife,
directors.
Mr. Reiss. We've even had the Double O Trophy
We've
on
had
here.
Coach Campion. I mean, it's been crazy.
Wow.
Even, I don't think you've ever heard of the Double O Trophy. Have you?
No, it's escaped me somewhere.
Oh, good.
Here in Clarkston, it probably missed me.
Yeah, I wish I were in Clarkson a rivalry.
Think I got a chance of winning that double O thing?
Yeah, I wish I were in Clarkson a rivalry.
Talk to
game.
Oxford
Talk
about it.
Oh,
Talk to Bud.
Well, I wish I were in Clarkson a rivalry. Game.
You know, I'm a little disappointed without the call-outs because I've been waiting for all this opportunity to call you out, and then you owe me
Feel
3
What?
Subway sandwiches that you've bet me over the course of the year. We just keep doing double or nothing, and you don't pay up.
Oh.
Coach,
2010, when Orion last beat Clarkston, you won a dinner at Andiamo's.
Yeah.
And the same bet carried on the next year, and I've got nothing but drinks of water back in Clarkston.
I never. Ah.
so we want to call you out
Sam?
because you don't pay up on your bets.
Ooh, go ahead. Call him out. You're calling him out right there.
All right.
Sammy Taormina, we're calling you out. You've got to start owning up to your responsibility and paying off your bets. Getting hungry out in Lake Orion and Clarkston.
What?
You're bankrupt.
Oh, my bankrupt.
You're bankrupt.
Yeah,
You can't pay your debts.
Look at all this.
We might have to garnish your wages from Mr.
How do you mean you wanted to garnish my wages? I never done anything wrong to you two.
Well, you
Yeah,
didn't
you
pay your
have.
bet
You,
off.
you bashed Coach Fife on multiple occasions. You bashed Mr. Reed on multiple occasions.
You called us out.
Yeah, you've called them out.
Now
You
you've been
bashed,
called
you
out.
bashed me. You bashed me a few times on a couple of occasions. You bashed Ian. You bashed poor Ian, but Ian does the same thing to you.
Wait,
So
come on.
what do you have to say
Talking
to
about him.
yourself? I'm gonna say this. I bashed so many people, from Gary Bettman, who is the worst commissioner in sports, to David Stern, who's like this in professional basketball. Why? I want my superstars to win an NBA title. What a joke. I mean, and then you have
You should be a politician
yeah, you
deflecting
really
this stuff.
should be.
We're talking about you, man. You owe people some footlongs.
Yeah, you owe people.
Get your $5 together, go buy some footlongs, pay off the debts, and just deal with it. Man up, man.
I'm thinking prime rib.
Right, I'm broke.
Yeah.
Right, or maybe some of the, what's that?
Sagebrush?
Sagebrush.
Oh,
Sagebrush, or what's that?
Sagebrush.
Cruisemere?
Cruisemere.
Oh, boy.
You can afford free chips and salsa at Sagebrush, right? Come on.
What about Olive Garden?
You got a couple Clarkson kids at Olive Garden, they'll hook you up.
Garrett Cologe, a personal friend here, still owes me a dinner from Olive Garden.
Oh, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. You're being the one that's incriminated here. I'm not the one that gets incriminated here. You're the one that gets incriminated here.
Sam?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I admit it. You admit it.
That's the first part to
That's
healing.
the first part of healing. What do I have to do to get to the path of recovery?
Well,
Well, we'll think of a nice place we can take us all to.
maybe we'll see where you're at on episode 156.
156?
Yeah, a year from now.
Is that
Hopefully.
the 3rd year anniversary?
Yeah.
Is it 156 or is it 208?
That would be 4 years.
That'd be 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
I mean, I'm not a math guy, but.
Right. We've done a lot the last 2 years. I mean, look at all the goofy. I mean, hard to believe, Ian, hard to believe that 3 guys from, we came up with this idea at the middle school city meet for Lake Orion Middle School city meet, and look where it's gone in 2 years.
2 years and many more gray hairs, and here we
Do you
are.
have gray hair? Ian?
Easy.
All right.
Yeah.
Getting into that pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, look, I mean, it's just been incredible. I mean, to have Mr. Reiss and Mr. Fife here today, I mean, a few years ago when we first started, I don't think we'd ever think of having both of them come on the show. So, I mean, it's been quite an honor.
Well, once you won that award, we were certain we
Wow.
wanted to be on the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That helps out a little bit.
Yeah, Ian got the Director's Award.
May have to
Oh,
look at Coach Bell and Richardson.
Yeah.
We've had Coach Bell on for our previous show before.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We've had a Lake Orion football previous show. We've had a Lake Orion basketball previous show before, too. Basketball's right on the
Preview,
corner.
though, is that's individual. That's
Mm-hmm.
full season. Bell and Richardson would be a good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely going into football or going into the end of the football season. I mean, one thing that I'm excited for. I know next year is a realignment year for football, but will they keep Lake Orion and Clarkson together? Maybe.
Sure.
They
You
better.
think?
That'll no question. Now the other, what is it, 6 or
Yeah.
4 left?
Yeah,
That's who knows. That will take forever. Our meetings took
agree.
forever.
I agree.
Tough. That's the toughest one. That and basketball.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
alignment.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks to both of you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting
You got it. You got it. Good to see you all.
Sammy.
All right.
Mr. Fife.
And
All
Anthony,
right.
thank you.
Coach
Thank
Fife,
you.
for coming on.
Good night,
Thank you,
everybody.
Mr. Reese, for coming on.